Zilla cabs.
Hello.
So Paul's going to talk us through bits and pieces that they do and offer.
Right. All right. So we might as well start with the closest one.
Cool.
A pair of bass cabs here. We mostly do guitar cabs, but we cater for bass players as well.
Yep.
This is your kind of traditional 115 410 setup. It's in a kind of what I'd call a traditional British livery, but that basically means like a
black and gold.
Marshall. Yeah, black and gold.
Yeah.
In those, we're mostly using Neo speakers, the Celestion Neo speakers.
Neodymium.
For bass. Yeah, the Neodymium for bass.
Are you using any on guitar speakers now? Because a lot of people are moving over to them for guitar speakers, aren't they?
What, the Neo? Yeah. Well, there's the Neo Creamback,
right,
which is a really popular one. Traditionally, Neo speakers, I don't know why, but they tended to be built sounding quite bright.
Yeah.
So I don't think they really took off for the first sort of 10, 15 years that they were making them. But the Neo Creamback is just a great sounding speaker that really kind of sounds bold, but nice and broad. It's not a compromise.
And you find more people kind of gravitate towards the Celestians still?
Yeah, I mean they do.
Yeah.
Especially over here. I mean, they're still a growing company, even though they've been going, God knows how long, like 80 years or whatever it is. But it's just a really good range. Speakers.
Yeah.
For me, they've always been great, really supportive. So that's when you're a small company, it's always.
I know that.
Like
you supported Pedalboards of Doom, so thank you very much.
But it's nice to work with when you know someone's kind of going to help you along when you need it. But the range itself is great. So plenty of people want something else and they buy it in and have it sent to us and we fit it for free. That's
okay. So if someone went and bought some Jensen speakers and they wanted it in, they'll just supply them to you and you fit them?
Yeah, sure. Jensen's a good example. They cater for a kind of different. I mean, there is a crossover with the Celestion range, but they do cater for different kind of markets. They have fantastic range of 10s and 15s for guitar.
Yeah.
I think Celestion's. I don't know what's the strong points of the 12-inch. It's just a great range of 12-inch.
What you'd normally get in a 4x12 Marshall is usually like a bunch of greenbacks or something like that. Yeah,
that's right. So people, if they want, say, a American kind of sound or 15s, 10s, often will be Jensens or maybe Eminence.
I've been with the Jensen guys whilst the Celestion guys are there as well occasionally, and I've always found that it's nice how they all get on really well and they all they all chat together and stuff. That's a bit like the pedal community.
Yeah, cool. I've never seen that, so I didn't know if there was like a rivalry, like punch-ups at the bar.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's like when you meet other guitarist friends for the first time when you're young. It's nice to have someone who talks your language.
Yeah. I think with the whole Celestion and Jensen thing, I do think, like I said, even though there's a bit of a crossover, I personally wouldn't see any reason for there to be any, because they
excel at different points.
Slightly, yeah.
So you do lots of really cool finishes available. What's this one?
This one's Fawn. So this
one's what, sorry?
Fawn. It's a reproduction of the stuff that Vox had in, I don't know what year, it was like 63 or something like that.
Okay.
It's like I'm saying it's a well-known finish, but I don't know what year it's from. It's the Vox AC30s came in it at some point in the early 60s.
I've never seen that, but I'll keep an eye out for it.
It's really nice. You get a surprising amount of metalers using it, and also old boys who like their vintage Vox.
It's not just old boys who like the vintage. This is one of my favourite finishes. I've got a cab in this colour. This is the slime green.
Yep.
Is it really popular?
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is actually my rig.
Oh, right.
So, it's one of those colours that it kind of goes in fits and starts. Kind of like blue snakeskin and also fawn. What'll happen is you do a couple of cabs in it, put it up on Instagram, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, oh yeah. I remember we didn't stock this for years, and PEG, who played in Red Sea's Fire.
Okay.
I don't know if you know, but he had a cab in it, a super fat boy actually, and it just kicked off. We were using probably about 2 rolls a year. It's kind of slowed down a bit since then, but
what happened for me was I saw you had one for sale, the London International Guitar Show, about 2-3 years ago, and I wanted to buy it, but my mate Phil bought it instead.
Oh right, yeah.
And I was like, right, I want that, so that's why I called you. I was like, right, what can we do?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I love that finish in the Super Fat Boy. I think it really kind of pings with the black hardware and the black.
It does, and the piping as well.
Yeah. I think it really sets it off.
And the blue snakeskin looks really, really cool. So what cab is this?
That's a custom one. That we use that as a technical exercise. I wanted to see compact 4x12, what it sounded like. Well, I knew what it sounded like, but I was testing thicknesses of woods, how far down you can push it, how much of a compromise it would be on the sound, that kind of stuff.
Limits.
Yeah. And in that one is the Neo Cream Max. So there you've got a 4x12 that weighs 27 kilos, which is like less than most 212 combos, kind of less than a lot of oversized 212s.
That's pretty cool. That is really, really cool.
And it's luckily it turns out to be about the same width as a small box Marshall would be.
My 4x12 is about the same size as this.
Yeah. I think your traditional size is about 760. That one's about, I think it's about 660. So I think they come oversized would come up to about there. You're right.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, they do, the bigger cabs do sound bigger, but some people want those 4 speakers. I mean, the advantage there is it just moves loads of air.
Yeah, it's one thing that really surprised me, and I knew that you told me this already, but it's experiencing it yourself, is when I got the Super Fat Boy, and I was running it in stereo with my 4x12, there ain't that much in it. There really isn't.
You've got there's loads of stuff that affects the sound, quality of materials, all that kind of stuff. But
it's very deep, isn't it?
The depth that's the same depth as a 4x12. So this is the Fat Boy, which is a bit smaller than the Super Fat Boy.
Right, so that's not the Super Fat Boy, right?
No, the Super Fat Boy's, it's the same top and bottom panels. Yep. It's just a little bit taller.
Yeah.
It's basically the best part of the 4x12. It's got the depth for the low end. And it's still a pretty big cab. It's just easy to manage, you know. It doesn't feel as big as it maybe is.
Yeah, it's a heavy bit of kit, but it's like nothing like lugging a 4x12 around.
I mean, a big part of the 4x12 is how you have to lift them.
Yeah.
With a 212, you can seem to get your arms around, lift with your legs. With a 412, I mean, in the workshop, I make everyone treat 4x12s as a 2-man lift. Right. I don't want guys busting their backs in.
Because you still got to pay them when they're often sick.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to hurt yourself with a cab, and you can do with 412s.
Coming back to your cabs, is this all the finishes you offer?
We don't have all of these. We've got probably about 80% of these.
80% of these.
Yes. So
you've got loads and loads and loads and loads of different vinyls. It's fantastic, isn't it?
There's about, I think there's 50 or 60 standard ones.
I know a man who'd like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So you can pretty much have whatever you want. I mean, I do.
Sorry.
I do think you can go for. I mean, most of them, with them being standard options, won't affect the price. So you can go for something quite sensible, or something traditional looking, or something classy, and also you can go for something like some snakeskin or some slime green or whatever.
Something like this stripe here would cost you a little bit extra.
That one would, yeah. It's just it's a lot extra work.
Yeah.
It's a lot more time consuming.
Especially making sure it doesn't come apart and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what about this really traditional looking?
With a wicker grill.
Yeah, it looks like you're going on a picnic.
This is this is a ported 112. It's the whole idea of the ports is to boost or attenuate certain frequency bands. It's got kind of like an acoustic filter.
Okay.
You will normally, a ported cab would normally be 1x12 because what you're doing there is tend to be trying to boost the lower frequencies.
Okay.
Just because of the physical restraints, that's where you normally be kind of lacking. So that's designed just to sound real big. That's the.
Is it closed back?
It's closed back. They need to be closed back for the ports to work.
Okay.
It's
and that's
acoustic.
basically where you've got like almost a baffle running through with holes in it, isn't it?
Yeah, almost. These are the cylindrical ports, so they're kind of like tubes.
Yeah. Okay.
But they work on the same kind of principles. It's kind of like, when you have a bottle of Coke or something and you blow over the top. It's the same principle. It's like a Helmholtz resonator.
Does that allow you to tune it?
Yeah.
Okay.
You tune it through several things, size of the port and all that kind of stuff. But if you're using the cylindrical ports, they only come in set sizes. Well, you've got like 20 different options, but it's a mixture between that, width, height, depth, volume, inside, all that kind of stuff.
And you're trying to add the bass in, but without it getting woofy and stuff like that.
Essentially, yeah, you're trying. The way I treat it is to try and just boost it a little bit, to try and add in a little bit of what maybe you could be lacking from a 1x12.
Right. Okay. So what you would maybe get out of a 2x12 or a 4x12, and you're trying to.
Kind of 2x12. So this will be. If you close your eyes, it will get you. You possibly be tricked into thinking you're playing like a kind of a moderate size 212.
Okay. That's cool.
The nice thing about ported cabs is also the ports, because the ports on the guitar cabs tend to be on the front. They're closed back, so you get a real tight low end response. But you also get airflow through the ports as well, and it kind of adds a little bit of almost ambience, like a sort of openness to the sound. If that makes
almost
sense.
like a slight reverb.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool.
It's more of a feel, a vibe kind of, that you can't quite put your finger on it, but it feels a little bit more expansive rather than, like a 4x12 is basically just pushing air at you.
Yeah.
So it gets away from that a little bit.
And this one here, is this a two 1x12 stack?
Yeah, like what we'd call a mini stack.
Mini stack, yeah.
Basically, right, the top, I'll just turn that around.
So we were talking about something like this when I was. So I got the Duchess amps from Zilla, from Victory, and I was saying it'd be nice to have something like this because you could use it as like a 2x12 almost, couldn't you? And then if you wanted to split it and run it stereo at a gig, you can.
It's like a kind of a really versatile, like modular setup. What you've got is
for sure.
You get a lot of guys. They do it with this as well. Two ported cabs. What you'll have is you can use one in the front room, one for when you're going out to practice, two at the bigger gigs.
Yeah.
Like you said. And one either side of the stage can sound massive, just just really fills the stage, gives a real kind of impact. A lot of guys in three-piece bands like that, because they're kind of just filling the stage with sound, basically.
I love playing in like power trios, because you can, especially if you've got a really strong bass player and a drummer, and something like that is just epic. And usually there's enough room on a stage for that when you're only in a three-piece. Depending on the drummer.
But yeah, it's great for that. So if you were going one either side of the stage, you're probably better off going two of the same, so two straight. The angled ones are a little bit more aggressive sounding than the bottom
really?
ones.
Why's that?
Imagine here the speakers at an angle rather than straight, so there's reflections inside.
Is there anything else that we've missed? What are these?
This is actually a good one to talk about. The Celestian's X200 speaker. Okay. It's like they call it a full range live response. It's like their take on an FR. Okay. It's supposed to give a little bit more of a musicality to the sound. This cab here itself it's an open source design that Celestian did.
Okay.
For that speaker itself.
And does it work well with guitar heads as well as?
No, it's
doesn't?
just for
helixes.
Yeah, that
Right.
kind of stuff.
Okay.
So what that'll allow you to do is to use the impulse responses and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So you can technically make it sound like you're playing a vintage 30 or a greenback or an EV or whatever.
That's pretty cool.
There are compromises there,
Right.
along with, like any guitar, setup.
So this is almost like the ultimate cab sim.
Allow you to, if it convinces you or not is another thing.
Subjective, yeah.
It's all subjective. I mean, there's always pluses and minuses. I think maybe I'd be tempted to go down guitar speaker route rather than, because something like a Kemper is so versatile anyway.
Yeah.
Do you need the extra versatility of switching between a vintage 30 and a greenback?
You make cabs specifically designed to like suit Kempers and stuff, don't you?
Yes, yeah.
Is that this or is that?
This is the Celestian design, which we do. It's an open source, so anyone can use it.
Right.
We have our own version, which is based around kind of these. The mini stack. So it's a little bit bigger, but we've kind of tried to thin out the sound, make it a bit more balanced.
Okay. So as you can hear, or not, it's noisy time now. So thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Right, and we'll speak to you all soon. Bye.